Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Left Wing Live. Joined, as always, by John Cooper from Counterpoint Politics. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good. We're doing a live stream during a Phillies postseason game. So,
no, look at that.
I got that on the separate screen. Don't you worry, but I will be paying as much possible attention to you as I can, DJ.
I get how it is. I understand how it is. So I don't watch sports anymore. I haven't watched sports in a really long time. And if you would have told me this maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you because I watched sports all the time growing up. And I love baseball. I got stats memorized going back to like the Honus Wagner days in baseball and everything. I love it. But when I got rid of cable, I really stopped watching sports altogether because you don't really catch it during highlights or sports bars, and I go to bars. So yeah, I still care about it anymore. It's very strange. It's odd.
I definitely have noticed a shift. I wouldn't say I don't watch as much as I used to because that would be a lie. But there's definitely been a shift in my mentality when it comes to sports. Like, it used to be something that I felt like was personally part of me.
Right.
It's like the Eagles were an extension of myself. And it was just like, I still very deeply care about them. And my fiance will still make fun of me for yelling at the TV during the games. But like, it definitely has become more of a thing I enjoy as a pastime than something that I feel tangibly impacts my life. And I feel like that change has occurred. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day I don't watch sports as much as I used to. But for now, it's still just a fun way to enjoy life. I don't know. It's especially if you have friends to get together and watch with, totally makes a difference.
It is. It's one of the few things left that anyone can bond over, no matter what your political or religious or just personal views are, where it doesn't really matter who you're voting for when you're rooting for the Phillies, for example. And there's not a lot of things left like that, so it's kind of good to have them around, I guess. I do miss it. I do miss it. And you know what I enjoy? I like going to a minor league baseball game. That's how I know I still love the sporting experience, because no one gives a fuck of who wins the minor league baseball game. Yeah, you don't really care. I mean, I guess they have their fans in their minor league arenas. It's true, but for when I've gone, it's just been, there's a $9 ticket to watch this baseball game, and they're gonna have a shark race a turtle or something in a costume, and that's gonna be fun to watch. And so I always enjoy the spirit in minor league games. So I was like, oh yeah, I still do like sports. I just don't get deeply invested in professional sports like I used to, or college.
Since masculinity is in the title of our episode today.
Yes,
I did want to say something that I always find interesting. Like, dudes can connect over sports no matter what. It's our hair and makeup. Like I can meet 90% of the male population. We could be stuck in an elevator or whatever. I can get through 30 solid minutes of small talk with them about sports. It doesn't really matter what team they root for or whatever. We can find something to talk about and relate to. And I always tell this, to women, like, if you are having trouble, there's definitely glass ceilings in corporate life in America and whatever. But if you want the easiest possible way to like network your way around those glass ceilings, just get into sports on just a base level. Like, if you are like a woman out there who's like, how do I connect with these male higher ups at work? And you have to be genuine about it. You have to actually
be real. Yeah.
It can't come across as fake. But like, if you just do that, you stay involved, especially if you have like a boyfriend or a husband who is very into sport, or a girlfriend or a wife who is very into sports and you are not, just talk with them about it, regurgitate what they say, start caring, and men will love to talk to you about it, because it's literally the only way we know how to relate to people. It's the only way we've been socialized to talk to other humans. We can't talk about our feelings. We can't do any gay shit like talking about our clothes. It has to be sports. So just learn that, and you'll have a huge leg up in life.
Now that you say that, first off, true, 100% true. You can go to, like, no matter, and it doesn't matter who the guy is. It could be the guy who delivers your mail. It could be the president of the United States. And you're gonna talk about sports, like, they'll have something to say, and you don't even have to be specific. Like, catch the game last week, and they'll tell you whatever game that they were into, and they'll assume that you're mentioning the advice thing. Though, with women, you hit the key point, is that it has to be genuine. You can't fake caring about it because they'll catch on real fucking quick. And I hate to say it, but a lot of dudes will do the, oh, you like, this type of music, name 3 bands. And, they'll do this thing with who won the pennant for the National League back in 1984 or something, they'll tell you something absurd like that. But what I also wonder is, what is the women's version of that? I don't know what it would be, like something that any woman or girl in the United States could bond over immediately, that you could have like not 100% chance, but I don't know, 85% chance that they're going to click on something. I really don't know what it would be. I'm curious, but it's the 0 women listening to us right now, let us know what it would be.
It's a little harder with women,
yes,
because they don't have. Well, first of all, sports isn't one thing. We're easy because it's sports, but like that's baseball,
4 sports,
basketball, like, and if you get like 2 of them, good chance you'll have a high success rate.
Yeah,
the guy you're talking to is going to know what you're talking about if you get 2 of the major ones. Women, it's a little bit harder. I am someone who's always advocated for men just get interested in women's shit, because the same advice back, the other way around. If you can hold a small conversation about, I don't know, Taylor Swift's music,
Taylor Swift's a good one.
Or like get into like female pop songs, like the pop songs that like you'll get a good amount of them. I can't tell you exactly which one that this girl is particularly going to be interested in, but you'll hit one of them if you cover your bases. Fashion as well. If you can just bullshit about fashion, you don't have to follow it. You don't have to care about it. But if you can learn like the basics, and I'm not talking about, I don't know anything about like, I don't know what brands are what, but I can look at an outfit and I can tell you what goes with what, and just get an aesthetic eye for it. That's a conversation you can have with, the same amount of women that you can have a sports conversation with men. If you get those 2 bases covered, you're gonna be able to have a 30-minute small talk with 85% of the female population.
John, there, I know the one. I know the one ring to rule them all on this topic, and you know it too. We talk about it all the time. Astrology. That's what it is.
That's the one I refuse to engage with.
Exactly, right? And so I think astrology is like, no, I'm not doing it. I am not going to pretend that the movement of the planet Mercury has any fucking thing to do at all with how you're acting right now. That's an insult to both of our intelligence. So yeah, but that's it. That's what it will be. It would be astrology that talking about the star chart. I mean, the complexity involved in this shit. If you ever heard people talk about astrology, it's deeper than even I know, because I just knew it as you have the zodiac signs, and if you're a part of a certain zodiac sign, you're born in a certain time period, you have a tendency to act in this type of way, have this type of personality. But there's like secondary signs or rising signs. I'm sure I'm fucking up terminology or whatever, but it's way more complex than I even knew. Kyle says, you don't know if I am not a woman. I grew up with a couple of women named Kyle. No, you did not. Let's see. Hey, I am a dude, grew up with a man who was a fashion designer and a dad who manufactured clothing. Nothing unites all women like how nothing unites all men. Well, thank you, Kyle. Look, you know us well enough that when we speak, folks, we speak in generalities. We have to. There's. If I were to get on here and talk about how my jacket was red as an apple, I don't need someone hopping on saying, well, not all apples are red. Yes, I know. I'm aware. Okay. So we're just saying that nothing unites everybody. But I even said like 85% of dudes will be united by sports. Wild number. And I don't know what the number is, but I know it's not 100.
I think it's like the 80-20 principle, like anything, like just that 80-20 ratio divide. You have a bell curve, you get the 10% on either side. It happens in a lot of things. I think it's a pretty fair number to put out there that like 80-85% of men watch sports, and we'll be able to have a conversation about it. Just like 85% of women either follow zodiac signs or care about fashion. That you're gonna get the majority in there. I will also say, TJ, that if you want to be attractive to women, it often isn't harder than just like talking about the shit they care about genuinely. Like we said with the sports thing, you can't fake it. But I got a DM the other. Like the most basic bitch, like trans support video of talking about how responding to some dude who was like, well, science says yada, yada, yada. And I was like, bro, there's different types of science. Like a tomato is a vegetable in nutritional science and a fruit in botanical science. But if your doctor told you to eat more fruits and you started eating tomatoes, you'd sound like an idiot. And just like you do right now. I made that video. It's very simple. And I had a girl DM me like, you've never been more attractive to me. And I was like, what about this video? And she was like, you have no idea how few like straight cis dudes, even in progressive circles, are willing to talk about this shit. Because like they're afraid of like sounding gay or whatever. And I'm like, just sound a little gay. Honestly, it's gonna go a long way. You're gonna don't sound like obviously flamboyantly gay to the point they think you're gay. But if you're willing to sound a little gay, women find that shit attractive.
Yeah, it's the confidence thing that you're not afraid of I don't know, you're not afraid of just speaking your mind and being yourself. And a lot of guys are really terrified of that I like something or I know a lot, I have an interest in something that might be considered feminine and they hide it which is not masculine. Like they're hiding who you are. It's kind of like I love wearing the color pink. And these days it's not quite as daring as it was 20 years ago. But, back then, dude just didn't wear pink. I wore pink all the time. It looks good on me. I like the color. But a lot of guys probably do like the color pink, but they're like, oh, that's a girl color. I can't wear that. That's not right. So I don't know. It's unfortunate how much we limit ourselves based on the socially constructed venues or expressions of sexuality that we're allowed to demonstrate. It's kind of unfortunate. And
as someone who is colored pink, I don't wear pink, but just because it just looks like I'm naked. Like it just
hold on a second.
Kyle had a great comment here. Were you about to go to that?
Oh no. What do you say?
Because Kyle nailed it. Generally, women can always talk about their period. That is the truest fucking
That's
statement.
Okay, but you can't really do
that
doesn't help us. Okay.
That.
Yeah, that right.
Like, no matter how hard I try, I cannot genuinely relate.
It would be very strange if you went to women and tried to bond with them over this topic. It'd be very odd. They would find you extremely creepy. Don't. You're right though.
My fiance has like straight up made long-term friends from like just, hey, can I borrow a tampon? Like,
yeah, I've seen that in films and everything where no matter how much animosity there is, it's like the code. There's if you need to borrow one, yeah, you can absolutely have one no matter who you are. So yeah, that's one that they bond over, I'm sure, but one that we can't possibly join in. So John, you mentioned the title of the video where it's like it or not, liberals, Elon Musk is peak masculinity. And what I wanted to talk about, did you get a chance to see this when Elon went out to speak to the rally goers for Donald Trump and was exuberant, just jumping for joy? What were your thoughts seeing this he-man woman hater dude?
It's such a beautiful picture because it really is. Elon Musk doesn't have it. He doesn't have whatever you want to call it. The Riz, you call it the X Factor. He is not cool. And he desperately wants. I have no problem with not being cool. I would take a picture that looks exactly fucking like this. Like this looks like a picture that I would have taken of me. But I don't try to pretend to be cool. I'm not trying to be Tony Stark here, guys. Tony Stark. You'll never see a picture of Robert Downey Jr. looking like this. It does not exist. He will never look like this. But that's who Elon Musk pretends to be, which is why this picture is so fucking funny. And Trump's expression also can't be underrated in this picture. But like, it's not that this photo is like, haha, you suck. It's funny because he doesn't want to look like this, and he does, and it's just it kind of explains his entire persona, that he doesn't want this to be his image, and yet he cannot escape it.
Yeah, it's so great, and what I love about it too is that it's the exact opposite of like the Trump photo. Because it's literally in the exact same location that Elon was there, and the two photos could not be more diametrically opposed. Like no matter how much you dislike Trump, like we do, we despise him. We think he's a blight on humanity, and the quicker he's gone from the public light, the better. But this photo is hard as fuck. This photo is fantastic. It's great. It's gonna live on long after we're all dead. It's metal as hell. And that's just perfectly demonstrates the two type of people we have, Trump and Elon. And Elon, he's been trying so hard to put himself up as this interesting, cool, fun guy. Having billions of dollars isn't enough for him. And oddly enough, it's not enough for Donald Trump either, but Trump is better at broadcasting a public image. And it's just, I've been laughing a lot seeing people trying to, you know how conservatives will try to, dodge around this stuff about how they act like masculinity and toughness and traditional manliness is the most important thing for a man to exude when they got Donald Trump, who's not masculine in any sense, or Elon Musk. And they always fall back on, well, Trump is a bully, so that makes him masculine. And Elon is rich. That makes him masculine. So to them, that really is peak masculinity. Like, it doesn't really matter if you exude any of the competency or care or devotion or hard work involved in it. It's, do you check the box of being rude and having money? And at the conservative voters themselves, they're just rude. They don't have the money. So I don't know. It is weird to see.
It is really sad how that has become like this mainstream definition of masculinity. Like Kamala and Walz have done a good job of taking back freedom from conservatives. Someone's got to step up and take masculinity back from conservatives, because there are actually a ton of great examples of men who are traditionally masculine who could do that, and they don't really go for it. No one has to, wave any flag that they don't want to. But like, there's so many examples of men that people would consider masculines. Take a Ryan Reynolds or a Hugh Jackman, who like are genuinely kind people. They make jokes. They're funny, but they're not mean jokes, and people like that could be the face of masculinity. But for whatever fucking reason, we have guys like Elon and Trump who aren't even like traditionally masculine.
Not at all.
They're not athletic. They're not strong. They're not like outward. Like Trump is charismatic in some ways, but not in the ways that you think of as a traditional masculine male.
Not physically attractive. That's
it's weird that like what has become the face of masculinity. And I guess when I say the face of masculinity, I mean the face of masculinity for men who care deeply about what masculinity is. Like, you and me, we don't really give a shit. Like, it upsets me personally that so many people view my gender as like you're supposed to be mean, and all of the things. Like, it does upset me personally, but I don't care about that. It doesn't reflect upon my own personal identity. I don't take their view of what masculinity is and think I need to change their behavior in order to appear more masculine. This is becoming what they're changing their behavior to. And it really just sucks because there's so many better examples that align more closely with traditional, ideas of masculinity and what a cool dude is that could be leading the charge. And yet, for whatever reason, these 4chan ass fucking weirdos are the ones who are at the forefront of what it means to be a masculine man.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's much anyone can do about that at the moment.
Chris Evans is another good example. Jason Kelce is a great fucking example, I think, of a guy who's, a very positive example of masculinity. I do think he is putting his best effort forward there, but it sucks. I think it's a pendulum that's going to swing back. Honestly, like I don't think that this current level of just outwardly awful masculinity is really going to win out in the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, it's winning now though, and for in the short term it is, and I think it will for a little bit. When you were talking about the appeals to masculinity and everything, I wanted to bring up this and show it to everyone. So this isn't going to be news to anybody, but the polls right now, like this election is completely about a lot of it is about masculinity because as of now, as a whole, men support Trump at 48% to 43%. That's actually not as bad as I would have thought it was. Honestly, that's actually not quite as bad as I thought it was. But
I would have thought it was much worse.
Me too. Yeah, that kind of surprises me. I wonder what poll that.
You know what it is, TJ? I bet you it's old people. Because the old people have been swinging back to Democrats
John,
significantly.
John, I had that. I actually had that ready, and I was gonna tease this at the end, but since you brought it up, I'll go ahead and pull this, and we can switch gears because I definitely want to talk about this tomorrow on the main show. Because a weird phenomenon is taking place in two distinct ways, and like what John mentioned. As of now, like 65 plus. Oh, this is 48-48 tied between Trump and Harris. I saw one earlier today that had Harris up by 1.5 for people at 65 plus. And what's really
unfathomable to Democrats of 8 years ago.
Incredible. And so I'm going to talk about this on TikTok, definitely. I'm officially all in. Actually, I've been for what? Harris is going to win this. She's going to win. It's going to be solid. It's like now that like the only demographic age-wise that's voting for Trump over Harris are Gen X. You fucking traitors. Gen X, once again, letting us down like you always do. But the 30 to 39 goes to Harris. 40 to 49 goes to Harris. 65 plus is a tie. I saw Harris up this morning, and I guess depending on the poll, but 50 to 64 solidly for Trump. 13-point advantage. So now with old people actually like either tied or going hard with Harris, it's over. It is definitely over. I can't imagine a universe where the 65 plus vote is tied or let alone won by Kamala Harris and she loses. I just can't. What do we think?
I agree with that because here's the thing, and this has always been the bane of the Democratic Party's existence. They have always appealed more to younger people. They've always appealed more across the board in terms of just pure numbers, but old people vote more consistently. For whatever reason that is, they have less going on in their lives. They're going to go out and vote. They watch more cable news, whatever it is. I don't know, but they always vote more consistently. And you'd think it should be the other way around. You'd think that younger people would have more of an investment in the future and therefore be more likely to take an active role in implementing the future they would like to see. But no, old people are the most consistent voters. So if you are, and also for at least the next, it has been the case my entire lifetime, will continue to be the case for probably the next 20 years because of the baby boomer generation. Older people are just massively outnumber younger people. Like there's a big bulge. There's less people being born now. It's just the way it's going to be for a little while. So yeah, you're right. Like if Kamala can actually tie the 65 plus vote, it's going to be very hard for her to win, especially if she wins Florida. Especially if that causes her to win Florida, it's over for these hosts.
Look, that it's all right. So I was gonna do this too. That I was gonna make an election prediction map, and I don't think Trump will actually lose Florida. I don't, but I think I'm gonna mark it as blue anyway, just for the LO.
Just for the rage bait.
Exactly. Why not? Right. And look, it's because I think everyone's map is going to look pretty similar. Like, there might be some divergence on whether or not North Carolina and Georgia go blue, but that's pretty much it for people who are going to be predicting this. So those will be the big ones and everything. But Florida, I don't think a lot of people are going to pick Florida as blue, but it's funny how we were on the same page with this. I was like, man, if he has that much loss with the old folks, that's going to hurt the Florida vote too. And it's already pretty close. Abortion measures on the ballot in Florida. Who knows? It's just,
there is so many it's so many things because it's not just it's the hurricane. That hurricane it's going to obliterate Florida tonight. And
I know Cat 5, man.
This might be one of the worst hurricanes we've seen.
This is the first Cat 5 since Andrew, I think, which was in 1992. I remember Hurricane Andrew, and that was a huge deal. I'm pretty sure it's the first Cat 5 since Hurricane Andrew.
I saw an image of it from space, and it is horrifying. It looks like as a storm that you see on Jupiter. It's insane. And what's going to happen is, hurricanes and natural disasters in general, more often than not, have a rally around the flag effect, where the incumbent party gets a boost from a natural disaster happening before a race. Now, it's happening in Florida, it's a loose swing state, but it's a fucking swing state. And there is so many with the abortion already on the ballot, with the fact that Trump, I feel like, has kind of worn out his, like, there's so many Floridians who actually despise DeSantis, Trump. They hate that is the state that they live in. And I think that is going to get them to get out the vote at a stronger level than the Republicans have. I think the Republicans there may have become complacent. I could be wrong, but I do think it's in play. And the fact that we have a close Senate race in Florida, and Democrats can very legitimately win that Senate seat.
They will. I
think Kamala should sell out, because if she wins Florida, it's over. There's no
chance.
Victory for Trump without Florida. And you also get to pick up a Senate seat. Like, even if you miss and get the Senate seat, it's still a win. So, like,
still worth it.
Sell out this last. Go there in the hurricane, for goddamn sake. I'm standing with the people in Florida like a goddamn weatherman. I don't give a shit. Like, do it.
Yeah. This thing with the hurricane is what, because John, we are on the same page, like on all cylinders here. I had to mix my metaphors there, but when I saw the satellite image of this hurricane, I had the same thought. This looks like a storm that you see on Jupiter. This doesn't look like it belongs here on planet Earth, and it seems like it's going to cover the entire state essentially. I haven't seen a hurricane this big in a really long time. And I guess the size of the hurricane isn't so much as like the wind speed. You see the video of Trump talking about the fact that it's a Cat 5. He's like,
I didn't even know there was a Cat 5. Like, TJ, I swear to God, like, as much as I hate when liberals complain, oh, the media is unfair to us, if any other fucking politician said that, they'd be being made fun of on and it's not even news. Trump doesn't know what a Cat 5 is. Why would he? He was only president for 4 fucking years.
Well, to be fair to Trump, blah, 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 and everything, he said that, I think his actual quote was, I've never seen a Cat 5. He's like, I knew it was a category, but I didn't know that they actually happened or something. Is what he said. Like they're leprechauns or something. He'd heard it's like a legend, but oh my God, they actually have Cat 5s. But yeah, it is fun. I don't know. Like, you remember that time he had the Sharpie and he drew on the hurricane map? Do you remember that? So for those of you who don't recall, this was a funny story. I mean, it was terrible, but Trump had put out a statement saying that a hurricane was projected to come through the southeast United States. And he said something like, this hurricane is set to affect the people. He said this much less eloquently, by the way, but he said that this hurricane is going to hit Florida, Georgia, Alabama or something like that. Or maybe he forgot South Carolina. He forgot to say Alabama, I think. And so he added Alabama. That's right. It wasn't supposed to hit Alabama. And so people said, well, the projection says Alabama is safe. And he brought out a hurricane map, like from the Weather Channel or something, who had the track on there. And Trump had literally just drawn an extra circle, like, look, it's hitting Alabama. And I saw that. I said, man, you could have just said, oh, I misspoke. I didn't mean Alabama. That was my mistake. He couldn't do it. He could not bring himself to say, oh, I was wrong, which no one would have given him shit about that. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, like, that Alabama gets hit by hurricanes, but he's just so fucking petty and this goes to what you're saying about why another reason I think Trump's going to lose is that people are sick and tired of Donald Trump. People are tired of him. Like, I've been saying for years now that this guy seems more popular than he actually is because his fans don't shut the fuck up. They never stop talking. They refer to themselves as the silent majority all the time when they never shut their mouths. And like, Trump fatigue set in years ago, and it's still there. And he still has a popular, upswell support amongst a small group, but the American people in general don't like him. And I wanted to share this one too. This was this isn't a surprise either. Women are for Harris at 52 to 47. Black voters are 76, 21. By the way, that's not going to be that high. This has happened every time I see a poll.
If Trump wins more than 20% of the black vote, TJ, I will be shocked. I will be shocked.
He's not going to win 15. Like, it would be, it's there. This always happens. I saw in Philadelphia, there was some poll, and Trump has like, Harris won black voters 70 to 30. So, okay, this is bullshit. Trump isn't getting half of that. Are you kidding me? And then what's the third one here? Young voters 62 to 37. So the fact that Kamala is winning black voters, she's winning young voters, she's winning women, she's winning independents. She's created 2, maybe 3 brand new swing states since she's been elected. There's no reason to believe Trump has a good chance of winning this. Like, everything is slated definitely like hard against him. I don't know. I've never been, well, not never, but I am very confident. And every time I say this, I always have people saying, well, remember 2016? Yes, I remember 2016. I remember people were confident that's not going to happen again, because people were caught off guard by Trump in 2016. No one really thought he could win. No one took him seriously. Everyone is taking Donald Trump seriously. The anti-Trump vote is very strong. So spare me the, oh man, you shouldn't predict this. First off, you think I'm going to stop people from voting? You think me saying I think Harris is going to win is going to stop anybody from voting? It doesn't matter. I hate when people complain about that, because yeah, I get it. People are have their apprehensions, but it doesn't mean you can't make predictions or shouldn't make predictions.
So I'm less confident than you, TJ. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing that hurts my confidence level is that everything you just said, specifically, at least related to Trump, about how people are sick and tired of Trump, yada, yada, yada. I also thought that applied in 2020. And we saw a polling error in 2020 that if it were to happen again, mm-hmm. as things currently stand right now, Kamala will lose. Mm-hmm. And so that's what is the biggest source of hesitancy for me. That being said, I wanted to address Mark's comment here, because he said this earlier when we were talking about masculinity, and he said Kamala starts stalling, and this is the conversation we get on the left wing. And I've been hearing this, TJ, like right wingers are like, oh, Kamala is dead in the water, she's stalling, yada yada yada, and like, I swear to God, they're just completely fabricating reality in their circle. Because, and I wouldn't be saying this. Remember, I'm the one who just said that I'm way more cautious of this than TJ is. But like, polling data, and I'll pop this up real quick. As you know, Nate Silver is my source of truth, and you can talk about his projections maybe being whatever, but his poll aggregation, I think most people are pretty confident in as being correct. This has been the race for it hasn't moved. Like, we've been here for a long ass while. Kamala's up about at this point 3.2 points. That puts her in a 3-point polling average. I was actually a little bit wrong. Now this is at 3.2. Even if we see a polling error in the size we saw in 2020, she's still going to win this thing. She's moved 0.9 points in the last month in her favor nationally.
Wow.
In Pennsylvania, she's also moved 0.9 points. I hate to break it to you, but this is what decides the election. Pennsylvania. All of these fucking states pretty much don't matter. Whoever wins Pennsylvania is going to win this election. There'd have to be a very weird circumstance where the winner of Pennsylvania doesn't end up winning the election. But like, that's what's going to happen. It hasn't moved. Things have just been moving in the Democratic direction. And like, we're just seeing a very stable race right now, which is why I'm like, yeah, Kamala's stalling, but she's been stalling ever since the debate. And we've criticized her for this. But this idea that like right now she's in some particular trouble, that things are swinging, I swear to God, it's as poly market changed. And like, people just started putting whale money on Donald Trump, and Republicans are like, oh, look, poly market voters are now at 72% voting for or putting their money on Trump. And it's like, yeah, because they're idiots. And you can tell this because the popular vote bets haven't changed. It's still, pretty 50-50 for the popular vote, but the electoral vote is going now like something 76% towards Donald Trump on poly market. And it's like, yeah, because you just have whale money going in. And that's the only thing that has caused this conversation among people like Mark to say that she's stalling. Oh yes, did I watch her 60 Minutes interview? No, I have not, because I'm under the age of 60. But yeah, what Wall Street Journal article on blue collar voters? I'll take a look at that, Mark. I haven't seen that. But if you look at early voting and like Pennsylvania, she's fucking trouncing Trump right now. And again, Pennsylvania is going to decide this. So like, I don't know. I feel like you're clutching at straws. If you're making the case that Trump has some better chance of winning than he did a week ago, I just don't see it.
So we love Mark here on the left wing. We do. We appreciate you watching and commenting, Mark. We genuinely, I'm not. It sounded condescending, but no, we genuinely do. I mean that. But Mark said, I'm not calling the race. It is absolutely close, but Kamala is clearly stalling. Well, Kamala has been, I'd say she stalled for a good month. And then there was a bump after the debate, and kind of solid ever since. Like, there's no universe in which Kamala's going to get like a 7-point national lead or something. But I mean, I'm sure you saw what John and I were talking about. It's there. Well, what he mentions with the CNN debate, it was a rather uninspiring debate. Not debate, the CNN interview. Waltz and Harris were on CNN. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw clips, and they would ask Kamala a few things, and it was just, it was real pedantic and boring, and there was really nothing energizing about it. But that's not gonna lose any votes for Kamala Harris, and so it's a non-factor. And the thing with the blue collar voters, sniff. Mark says sniff, you guys. Well, that sounded weird out loud, but sniffing, sniffle as if you're crying is what Mark wrote right there. But I did see something that Harris is. She's getting less blue collar support than Biden or Clinton did at the same time. And that isn't super shocking, I guess, knowing that for some inexplicable reason, blue collar voters are drawn to Donald Trump, although he wouldn't spit on them if they were on fire. And that's true. That's true. However, that's pretty much the only surprising demographic that Harris is losing ground on. She's gaining ground on everyone. And like we mentioned, that she's gaining ground with old people. She's got a ton of support from women, Black minority voters of all kinds. As swings, I don't know. It's just I would be very surprised if that has a huge effect, a negative effect on Harris going forth. Although this goes to what you were saying earlier, John, the Democrats and their messaging toward dudes and blue collar workers, it is just really messaging, because honestly, the policies are there to help people in a lot of ways, but Republicans speak the language better, and that's why they have that rallying.
Yeah, it is weird. And I this is anecdotal, but I am from a blue collar working class white family in Pennsylvania. And I do have some Trumpies in my family, but like, it's more hating Trump. And this is not a Democratic family. Like, this is a mostly Republican family, and they fucking despise Trump. And I hear that a lot from blue collar people. It's not like there's going to be some massive fucking margin, I don't think, here in Pennsylvania. And again, Pennsylvania might as well be the country for this election. So like, I don't see that any increase over what Biden had being applicable to overcoming Kamala or Trump's losses with old people, with Black people, with a whole bunch of people. And I swear to God, this cannot be overstated. The demographic that hates Donald Trump the most is white suburban women.
Yes.
It is by far the demographic that hates him the most, and who will get out the fucking vote. They will go out and they will destroy him in the suburbs, and that is where he's going to lose this race, because so much of Pennsylvania's population is in Philadelphia suburbs, and we're going to just crush you guys. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. It happened in 2020. It's going to happen again. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, I think women are going to come out in higher numbers than people are predicting even. I think it's going to be like an incredibly high turnout for women, and suburban women especially. It's like we were saying earlier, people are fucking tired of this guy. They see him like just, I don't know. Like, John, you have more patience for arguing conservatives than I do. I guess I did years ago, but these days, I don't know how you do it now. Like, now it's not even about policy anymore. It's not like it's about fucking reality. It's like, yeah, Donald Trump had an entire scheme set up where he sent fake electors to Washington, D.C. to try to steal an election. People have gone to jail for this. It's been adjudicated in court. And like, no, it didn't happen. Where do you go from there? And that's just one issue. And things like global climate change, like global warming, climate change, they don't believe it's real. At COVID, they don't believe it's real. I don't know. Even if Harris wins this election, I don't know what to do. Like when it comes to like debating these cult followers now, because they've completely detached themselves from the real world.
Well, I mean, I've said this before, TJ. The reason you're seeing the cult get crazier is because the cult is getting smaller. It's a self-defense mechanism, because demographically they're fucked. It's over. Especially their biggest stronghold is the old people, and you know what happens to old people? They don't last as long, and
they're losing them.
And when they keel over, there's going to be more and more young working class minorities, children of immigrants taking their place, who are going to vote overwhelmingly Democratic. And it's going to turn Texas blue within the next 20 years. It's over.
Yeah.
And this is the last grasp. And you're going to see the Republican Party have to shift its messaging and move left. It's just, it's going to have to happen. So yeah, you're right. It feels that way, but that's because we're fighting a rat with its back against the wall. Like that's what we're seeing here. And it sucks, and we have to live through it and pray to God that rat with its back against the wall doesn't take power. But there's only a couple more chances for that left, because it will not be able to sustain itself.
I guess I'm not so much worried about the political landscape as I am the social landscape, in that even if Republicans or conservatives, right wingers, MAGA, lose all their political influence at the federal level, at least, they're still going to exist in day-to-day life. They're still going to be obnoxious. They're still going to be, flooding school board memberships with threats of demons trying to get in their kids. And I don't know, I just feel bad that it's the year 2024 and this shit is still going on, and it's not going to get any better. Did you see that video Jake Tapper did when he was talking about AI the other day? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, actually.
If not, okay, you got to see this, because it is pretty frightening, honestly. Let me get this right here. Oh, shit. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. All right. There we go. All right, so check this out. This is Jake Tapper and AI.
Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. We are in an unprecedented technology has vastly outpaced the ability of the public to recognize deep fakes, and even more so, lapped lawmakers, many of whom, frankly, seem unable to manage their email. Take, for example, what you're watching right now. I'm actually not Jake. I'm a deep fake Jake, a deep Jake, if you will, created by comedian Danny Polishuk, who has only been using AI for 2 weeks. The fact that I seem so real suggests that real mischief and serious damage could be done with this technology were it to be so utilized in the US as it has been for bad purposes abroad.
Okay. Real life Jake here now. AI generated images, audio, and video such as that have slowly been creeping in. John,
we're cooked. It's done. It's done. That looked real to me. That I don't know about you, but I saw that video. I was like, oh, I'm watching Jake Tapper video. Nope, it was AI. And we make fun of boomers for not being able to recognize AI. That would have fooled me. That would have 100% fooled me. And we're gonna get a lot more of that in the future. And that's it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be pretty rough out there.
Yeah, there is a worry about that. However, I genuinely, TJ, I think the answer to that, and I'm someone who, among leftists, I probably would say I'm more of a free speech advocate than the average person on the left. I hold it pretty near and dear. I think censorship is very, very wrong, and we shouldn't do it. But this is a situation where I think that the answer is just make it illegal to produce AI videos of other people. And I know we can do this because it's very illegal for me to fabricate an image of someone and use their likeness against like we've been doing this for fucking years. Like,
yeah,
and it's not something that can't be regulated. And you can easily just say, hey, there has to be a very clear AI watermark on this image, or it's illegal to produce. And all of the software that makes these images and exports them has to follow this. And it'll make it very, very difficult for be out. Now, will these things still be made? Will it still happen? Yes. Will people still be fooled by it? Yes. But I think that you won't be able to ever tell what's fake anymore sort of thing isn't going to happen if we just take some common sense approaches. And yeah, I know, TJ. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, TJ. This shit scares old people. And things that scare old people tend to get fucking regulated. like that's kind of the case, you know? So this is one of those things where I think you can get broad sweeping consensus to regulate it. Although I will say they're fighting like hell. They're buying the shit out of to stop that from happening. So if you look, did you see how much election spending is being election donations by the fucking crypto industry?
Oh God, I saw something with Harris taking some crypto money, but I didn't see how much it was been to either party or anything like that.
I have to talk for a little bit because I need to find this statistic.
The thing with the old people being scared of it, I don't think old people just understand it. I think eventually they'll be scared of it. But right now they don't know. They you've seen Facebook and everything. They can't tell what AI is, and I hate to sound like being dismissive of our elderly or whatever, but a lot of them just seem lead poison and don't really they can't really process what's going on in the real world. So I don't know. Hold on.
I pulled this up, TJ. This is going to be shocking. This is from Public Citizen. When I saw this, I was genuinely floored. I couldn't believe it. Here is the elections. These are donations. These are by industry donations to political campaigns. These are corporate contributions in blue. This is the crypto, the orange in 2020 crypto donanations. Can you click on
the image to enlarge it? It's hard.
I can, but it's here. Let me just. I tried doing that and it.
It froze now.
This way. Are we seeing this?
No. Well, okay. I mean, yeah.
Okay. It's not going to get bigger when I go into it, but that crypto has donated $120 million of corporate donations, right? That exceeds the.
We lost John. Oh, well, hopefully he hops back on here. I'll go ahead and read what Hugh Jesse said. How do you know that we are real? We had a very funny conversation about that a few weeks ago with Nick Powers, who was on, because Nick Powers was pushing this software that will read a scientific study for you and then turn it into an AI podcast with two AI hosts. And John and I were making fun of the fact he's trying to put us out of a job. And how do we know Nick Powers is an AI? Because we've never seen him before. Kyle says we need to change copyright law where a person owns their name, image, and likeness by default. If anyone makes and shares an AI image of someone without their permission, they should be sued for violating copyright. And Hugh says, are you guys familiar with the supposed Trump quote from '98, where Trump called Republicans the dumbest group and voters and believe everything on Fox? It's not real, but so many people think they saw it live. So I've seen that quote. I knew it wasn't real. I know a lot of people shared. It's like, oh, we should have known. Trump said that he was going to run as a Republican because they're all stupid. And I was like, folks, that quote's not real. It didn't happen. I saw something else too the other day where someone Democrats fall for this shit too, where they'll post a quote and say, oh, this came from this right winger, and it's bullshit too. But I don't know. I'm just really scared of it because I don't know what's going to happen when I wonder about these laws sometimes. I remember watching a commercial a long time ago, and it was JD. I forget the actor, the guy who plays JD in Scrubs, and it was very clearly his voice. Thank you, Heather, for the applause. We appreciate it. And there's John. Hey, he's back.
Hey, I've lost Wi-Fi, so we are on phone data here. So.
Yeah, so you had just started explaining the chart, and you cut out. So what did it say?
So what the chart said, and I'm not going to be able to screen share it anymore, but there have been more, like from corporate America, right? There have been more campaign contributions from the crypto industry this election cycle than there were overall corporate political contributions in any year prior to 2020. It's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. And there are also more corporate political contributions this year than any other previous year, but the crypto industry itself, all of the spending in 2016, it is eclipsed by just the crypto industry, which is scary, and I don't quite understand it.
Me neither.
I don't know what the long play is with crypto, because it seems to be a bubble to me, but the bubble ain't going away. It ain't popping. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand. Crypto just confuses me altogether anyway. And yeah, what is the long game? I don't know. Wow, we'll have to see. And what was I was reading here? Oh, we were talking about fake quotes and everything that we saw. And Hugh just brought up one that I've seen a lot of times where people say, well, you know, Trump said that if he were to run, he would definitely run as a Republican because they're really stupid. They'll believe anything they see on Fox. That's a fake quote. But people on the left share it all the time. It kind of annoys me. I haven't heard anyone say they heard it live, Hugh. And by the way, I do get the pun here with Hugh Jass. I don't want to ignore that, but I just want to point that out. Hugh was a good one. Hugh, like the first name Hugh works really good for fake names like that. Like my favorite one is Hugh G. Rection. That is my favorite one to use as a fake name. I like that a lot. So big fan there. Oh boy. Oh man, it's almost time to wrap this baby up.
I know, it's crazy. This hour has blown by.
It really has. Yeah, it really has. Oh, topics. So topics for tomorrow. The only thing I definitely want to talk about the polls, specifically the seniors. I definitely want to dive more into that one tomorrow. And I guess the hurricane. That seems the easy one to go over. And what else is out there right now?
So I want to do like a serious discussion because we kind of touched on it a little bit today, but I want to do a more in-depth discussion of Elon Musk and his utter, and like it's kind of like we all saw this coming, but the level to which he has swung all the way to just openly campaigning for Donald Trump when 2 years ago he was saying that Twitter needs to remain politically unbiased. Like, it's kind of crazy. And I do want to talk about that, the impact that it has on the election and politics in general for Elon Musk to be engaged like this. So yeah, that, the hurricane. We could talk about the war book with the ties that Trump sent Putin COVID tests when Americans couldn't get them, and like what is also sort of kind of, and by sort of kind of I mean very legitimately in violation of what was it called? It's not the Jones Act.
Oh, I can't remember the act you're talking about. I know it's one to talk about that you can't negotiate with foreign leaders as a candidate.
Yeah, it's like it's a male name that starts with J, I'm pretty sure, but I forget which one it is. But like we can talk about that.
I like it. I like it. We can do that. And tomorrow we have Savage Truth is going to be our guest for tomorrow. So we look forward to having her on. It should be pretty good. And we'll get this ready for you guys. And any last parting thoughts, John?
No. Hopefully my Wi-Fi will be good tomorrow. And we'll see you all then.
Later, folks.